Hi, I'm Mr. Pinkston, and I'm here today to talk to you about the trumpet. The trumpet is the highest of all of the brass instruments, and it uses a small mouthpiece to make the sound. When we buzz our lips into that mouthpiece, that's what creates the sound. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to buzz your lips. So what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and lock the corners of our lips down. Okay, kind of like you're trying to blow a candle out or blow a birthday cake, a whole birthday cake. Okay, we don't want our cheeks to get all puffy and try to blow that way. And because if you do, the corners of those lips are no longer locked down. So we're going to try to, it's like we're blowing a really fast airstream. So then we say like the letter M, and then we're going to follow it up with kind of the letter P, like we're going, pizza. All right, so now focus what that feels like. Your lips are pursed together. They're not jammed together, and they're not sucked in either. Okay, we're not a grandma with no teeth saying hello. We are also not pushing out, not doing anything. We're just going, kind of pressing our lips together. Now we're going to say pizza. Pizza. When you say that letter P, can you make it kind of explode? Pizza. So doing that, the M and the P, is the first step in how we buzz. Another way to think about it is your lips are going to go just in a really, really small way. All right. So now you can give me your very best elephant impression. So you can put your trunk out and we'll get our lips together and we'll go. Doing it by pressing your lips together is going to create that sound that we need for a buzz. Now, we saw this trumpet mouthpiece, and we see that's not very much room to make that buzz. So we go, we set this in the center of our lips, and we go, kind of sounds like a duck, doesn't it? I always think the mouthpiece is kind of a funny sound. You heard me playing a theme from Jurassic Park at the beginning, and the mouthpiece is responsible for all of that. Now, the mouthpiece is a funny sound, but it's responsible for all of the sounds? It sure is. But you wouldn't want to hear a whole band or even a whole trumpet section playing just their mouthpieces. So when we buzz into that mouthpiece, whatever we're buzzing is going to go in the mouthpiece, which is going to go in the trumpet. So I put the mouthpiece. If I'm buzzing a high note, gives me a high note on my trumpet. If I'm buzzing a low note, gives me a low note on my trumpet. So really, your lips and your mouthpiece control everything that you do. To buzz higher notes, we'll of course tighten our lips a little bit. Think about that super high string on the violin that you learned about. It's the thinnest string of all. So we're going to make just a little, our lips nice and thin to get that super high note. And then we'll go for a bigger string, or we'll go for a looser buzz to make that lower on the mouthpiece. All right. So that is a little bit about how we make the sound on the trumpet. In order to be a master musician, you must be able to read notes and rhythms. So we're going to review some of the notes of the treble clef, and then we're going to learn some new notes in there. So the first thing I want you to do is put your hand up, and this is just like the staff. It has 5 lines and 4 spaces. Okay, so the bottom line we know would be E. Every good burger deserves fries. Elvis's guitar broke down Friday. Every good boy deserves fudge. Every girl buys dinosaurs Friday. Whatever you want to say for yours is okay. But every good burger deserves fries is probably my favorite one. So when we have E, G, B, D, F, that means E is going to be the lowest line. F is going to be the top line. We know that the spaces spell face. F-A-C-E. So they're not just lines and spaces, though. They go in order. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. But the music isn't just confined to what's in the staff. It also can go above the staff and below the staff. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So before we get to that, we are going to do our master of the alphabet. So we know that there's only 7 letters in our musical alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 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 A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And every time we get to G, we just restart at A again. That's our entire musical alphabet. So we're going to do our master of the alphabet starting on A. All right? So we'll have our steady beat, and we'll say one letter right with each click of the beat. And 1, 2, start on A. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Now let's go backward. All right, so you're going to go from A to G and then back down the alphabet. This is where it gets a little tricky sometimes, so this might be something to practice. Ready, go. A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Can you picture where that would be on your staff? We'd have A as that second space. A, B, C, D, E, F, G would sit right on top. And A seems like it would just kind of float out in nothing. Except there's something in music that we call a ledger line. And I'll show you in just a second what one would look like. But it's essentially going to get its own little line. It's going to be a note with just a little line through it to say, hey, I live on this line. So that's our A, master of the alphabet. Let's do the same thing on B. 1, 2, ready, go. B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B. Sorry if I caught you by surprise by going back down without telling you. Can you picture that one on your staff? B, C, D, E, F, G, A, we know is on its own little line, and then B is going to sit on top of that line. That's crazy. Well, music has high highs and low lows, so it can't just be confined in here. Does that mean we could also start below the staff? It sure does. There's a B down here too. So we could say B, C is on its own little line, D would be right up under E, and then E, F, G, A, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B. All right, now our master of the alphabet on C. All right, so you're thinking ahead. You know that once we get to A, we're going to have 2 more letters, and that's going to be B and C. All right, so let's say our C, master of the alphabet, up and down. 1, 2, ready, go. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Good. So we're using the same 7 letters every time. It's just going to matter where we start. Once we start playing our instruments, or maybe if you have played piano or keyboards in your class, you know that sometimes to get better at music, we play scales. And scales are essentially exactly what we're talking about. So we have to know all of our scales starting on all the different letters. All right, so now we're going to add D. All right, so we know that we're going to go D, E, F, G. All right, and then we're going to restart, of course, at A is the correct answer. I hope that's what you just shouted at your computer. You were like, hey, I know this. All right, so D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Now think of your way back down. D, C, B, A. Now we have to jump back to G, G, F, E, D. Okay, now let's say that in a steady beat. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D. Let's do that one more time. Make sure we have it. 1, 2, ready, go. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D. Good. Now, if we look at that on our music staff, you can see we have, I told you before, we have those ledger lines that we'll look at. But you see here we have a low E and a high E, a low F and a high F. And that's going to be the difference between the low sounds and the high sounds. The lower it is on the staff, the closer to the bottom, the lower it's going to be in the sound of the instrument. If I play this from left to right and I go E, F, G, if I do that on my trumpet, it's going to sound like this. And that was every note of the staff, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, A, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, going up and down. So what about these little lines that I was just talking about? So if I have our staff right here, the music continues above and below the staff. So we're going to look one note below. So if we go one note down from E, well, that orange almost disappears in the camera sometimes, doesn't it? If we go one note lower than E, we're going to put a note down here, and right under this is going to be D. D is going to live just under the staff. The music's going to keep going down. We know from a master of the alphabet that it's going to go in the order of the notes. So we'll put a little line here, just like a continuation of the staff. We don't want to add a whole sixth line, but we're just going to put his own little line here, and this is going to be our note C. Okay, so if we said master of the alphabet starting from low C, we'd go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, you can see what that would look like. Now, of course, the music wouldn't zigzag, but for our sake of looking at the staff, we're just going to look at it that way today. Okay, it would just go in a straight line, just like these guys do. So it goes below the staff, but what about above the staff? Well, we already talked about A. It has its own little line. Now, this little line I keep talking about, it has a special name. It's called a ledger line. And so C is on a ledger line below the staff. If we go up, we're going to see G is going to sit right on top of our staff here. Okay. So G is going to sit right here on top of the staff. And then we have a ledger line. Again, it's like a continuation of the staff. We don't want to put 7 lines though, because then it starts to get really muddy in the middle for what note's what. And also we don't have 7 fingers, so our hand staff wouldn't work anymore. So we know that that note's going to be A on his own line here. Okay, now we went down to low C. What if we went up to high C? So if I put a little line right here and I put a note on top of that, that's going to be B. And then I'm about out of room on my paper, but I would put 2 lines because we continue all the way up to C. A's already on that first line, B's on top of this line. So now we have to say, well, I guess we better make another line. And C would sit all the way up here. Okay, so the music continues up and down all around the staff. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And we get all the way to the top of the staff there. And that's what we call 2 octaves of music. We go from low C to middle C to high C. Those are 2 different octaves that we would see for our note reading. Okay, so get your hand staff out. You said I never put it away. I didn't put a glove on. So get your hand staff out. I guess a mitten would be putting it away, wouldn't it? And C's on his own little line. D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Let's do that bottom of the scale one more time. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So you should be pointing right between your pointer and middle fingers. This is where F, A, C, C lives. Now let's go above and let's see if we can make our own little ledger lines. When I make ledger lines, I just like to go back and forth to make it seem like you're drawing a little line. All right, so we're back here on C between pointer and middle, and let's say it going up. C, D, E, F, G sits on top, A on his own little line, B's on top of that line, and then C's on another little line. Okay, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So I hope you understand a little bit about how ledger lines continue the music on the staff. We've learned about notes. We've learned about the trumpet. Now let's learn about the notes on the trumpet. One of the very first songs that we learn on almost any instrument is Mary Had a Little Lamb. And so what I want you to do is I want you to make a loose fist with your left hand. Okay, we're not like ready to punch something. We're just making a nice loose fist. If I press on my fingers, they're still moving. I'm not going tight at all. I'm just kind of putting my hand together. So I like to do this because to me it kind of almost feels like the valves. When I press on my knuckles, they kind of come down and back up just a little bit. And so it can feel a little more like a valve. So your pointer finger is going to touch your pointer finger. Your middle finger is going to touch your middle finger. Your ring finger is going to touch your ring finger. Your pinky doesn't touch anything because there are only 3 valves on a trumpet. Your pinky sits on top of this little ring. Unless you're turning a page. That's what it's for. You put your pinky in, you turn your page, then you put it right back on top. So the first valve is your pointer finger. It's the one closest to your face. Valve 1, valve 2, valve 3. The trumpet is played by using different combinations of those valves. And so if we talked about going up our scale, I'm going to show you on my valves. I want you to do it with me on your fingers. So the first note of our C scale on a trumpet, which is our first scale we learned, is C, 0 fingers. Okay, so your fingers will just stay up. You can even buzz your lips with me if you'd like to when I play the note. Then we're going to go to D, which is going to be 1 and 3 together. So your middle finger is not touching, it's pushing down 1 and 3. And your middle finger's just kind of hanging out up here, okay? So we go 0, C, 1, 3, D. Now we're going to put down 1 and 2 for E. Okay, so let's do that with our fingers. We have 0, 1, 3, 1, 2. 0, 1, 3, 1, 2. That's our first 3 notes, C, D, E. Which C, though? You just showed us 3 Cs. I sure did. The C that we're playing on the trumpet starts on the first ledger line below the staff. It's low C, D, E. All right, we keep going up that scale. We're just going to learn 5 notes of it today. And we went C, D, E. Now it's just going to be a first finger for F. So you notice you're leaving that first finger down for 3 notes in a row. C, D, E, F. And you never have to pick it up when you're playing those notes in a row on the trumpet. So let's hear those notes. And you can move your fingers, and if you want to, you can buzz along with me. We have one more note, and that's going to be G, open G. Okay, so we have a low open, and we have a middle open. Well, as I told you in the very beginning of this video, the sound of the trumpet is controlled by your lips. And so the trumpet actually has a lot of different notes that you can play without moving your fingers. We're going to have multiple notes that can be played open, multiple notes that can be played first, second, 1 and 3, all of them. And there's even whole songs that were written to be performed with no valves down at all. The Army Wake Up Song, or Reveille, is one of those. And you saw, or you heard, I played a bunch of different notes, and I never moved these valves. I can even take my right hand away because I don't need it. So we have a low open and a middle open. So now, let's review those 5 notes, and then we'll learn Mary Had a Little Lamb. C, D, 1 and 3, E, 1 and 2, F, 1, G, open. Can you remember those without me telling you? Let's play those 5 notes in a row and see if you can remember all of the notes. Ready? Go. How did you do? Are you ready to go a little bit faster? Some of you might be, and some of you might need a little more review on that, and that's okay. That's the beauty of a video. You can just click back and do it again. But let's go a little bit faster. We're going to see if we can go super fast. How fast can you get those fingers moving? All right, let's try it again. So C down here, D, E, F, G. These are our 5 notes. C, D, E, F, G. All right, you can picture those while we're moving our fingers for them. A little faster. Ready? Did you remember all of those fingers? Let's go one faster. Okay, this is only for the brave. Here we go. Ready, go. And eventually, we learn how to go a lot faster on our instruments, but in 5th grade, that's going to be a good start, is to go a little bit faster to make sure we know all of our notes. All right, so now Mary Had a Little Lamb is going to start on E. It's going to start on 1 and 2, and we'll go 1, 2, E, 1, 3, D, open C, D, E, E, E. All right, so let's review those fingers. 1, 2, 1, 3, 0, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. How do you make the sound when you have 3 1 2s in a row? We're going to use our tongue, and you're going to hear me saying 2, 2, 2, T-O. 2, 2, 2. When I do that, that interrupts the sound, but it makes a nice sound. If I didn't use that and I just went hoo, 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 ooh, listen to that. It's a bad sound. I've been playing this instrument a long time, and without my tongue, that's the best it'll sound. All right, so we go 2, 2, 2 to start every note. All right, 1, 2, 1, 3, 0. Let's try to play Mary Had a Little Lamb. I want you to try to buzz your lips, and it's a little harder to buzz your lips without a mouthpiece. So if you can't do it the whole time, don't worry. Trumpet can still be a good fit for you. But I want you to just practice seeing if you can make that sound. Ready? 1, 2, ready. Okay. Did you remember all the fingers, or did you have to think about it? And it's okay if you had to think about it. 1, 2, 1, 3, 0, 1, 3, 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 3, 0, 1, 3, 1, 2. Just kind of make that pattern with your fingers over and over. See if you can commit it to muscle memory. C, D, E, D, C, D, E, D, C. All right, let's do that beginning part of it one more time. Ready? Buzzing your lips. Mmm, pizza. Mmm. All right, and moving our fingers with it. 1, 2, ready. And that's something you can keep practicing, going over those first 5 notes, C, D, E, F, G, F, E, D, C, and E, D, C, D, E, 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 to help you start to memorize some of those fingers on the trumpet before you even get started. Another thing that you have to master to become a master musician is your rhythms. So far, we've talked about quarter notes and eighth notes the last couple of weeks, or tas and titis. We're going to transition away from saying ta and titi to just saying the quarter and eighth notes, or the numbers that we use to count them. So you can see we have some rhythms on the screen here, and we're going to count through a few of these together. Look at measure number 1. You see 4 quarter notes. All right, and you know it's a quarter note because it has a head and a stem. The stem is what's sticking up, just like if it were a plant. And so we would count that and we would say 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 beats in the measure, and so we're going to count to 4, and then we're going to restart at 1. Just like when we did our alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, we go back to A, and then in music, in our measures, once we get to 4, we go back to 1. So if we counted the first 2 measures, we'd go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is a rest, so we're not going to clap there, and then we'd clap on 2, 3, 4. All right, look at measure 3. Can you figure out how you'd count that before we count it together? Let's see. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we don't clap on 3 because there's a rest there. Some teachers might prefer that you go 1, 2, 4, or even 1, 2, 4. For my purposes, I'm going to keep the numbers going because the music keeps going, and I don't want you to lose track of what number we're on. So now, measure 4, the farthest right side, you see that little 4 above it, that means it's measure number 4. And measure 4, how are you going to count that one? If you said 1, 2, 3, 4, you are correct! You get 100 imaginary points. Imaginary points are good for imaginary things. So, now, I want you to skip the next 2 lines. We're going to skip those half notes, and we're going to go down to measure 13, where we see quarter notes and eighth notes. So we have, if we counted it in music class, we might go ta, ta, ti, 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 ti. Well, now we're going to count it 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. When we cut the beat in half, or when we put two notes inside of that one beat, we have to add a syllable. So that's why we add and. We're still only counting to 4. We don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have the beat in the same place. 1 is always right on the beat 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. So if we kept a steady beat, ta, ta, ti, 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 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. That's how those and counts are going to work. So now look at measure 14. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. We don't clap on 2 because you see that is a quarter rest. Quarter rests are fun to draw. They just look like a little Z with a squiggle on the bottom. So that's our quarter rest. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Let's count measures 13 and 14 together. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. All right, let's do 2 more. Let's do 15 and 16 there, and then we'll call it a day on rhythms. All right, so here we start with a rest on 1. So we'll put our hands out to the side and we'll go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Okay, let's count 15 again. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. There's not always a note right at the beginning, so be ready to rest like we have in 15. And then look at number 16 there. Now it starts with the 8th notes, so instead of saying 3 and 4 and, now we're going to say 1 and 2 and. Super genius, you got it. All right, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. All right, Grand Master Musician time. Let's count 13, 14, 15, and are you ready for it? 16! All right, here we go. 4 measures. 1, 2, clap and count. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. If you nailed it, congratulations. If you struggled with that, go back and rewatch this part. Count and clap with me a few times because rhythms are going to be very, very important for us to be able to play our music the very best that we possibly can.